Darwin and Dom trained yesterday with the team, so yeah, they look good. We have to wait how they react. But Tao and Robo didn't. But there's the plan that they join in today. It's the idea, but we have to see if that really works out. Yeah, Ibu had nothing. It was just time sharing. Who was the other? Yeah, Lucho is fine. Maka, it's fine. So they all look fine. It's the little problem that we didn't know, we couldn't know about. So Maka was ill for 1.5 days, I would say, and Robbo had the same thing. So hopefully that didn't spread now. But so far I didn't hear anything, so I didn't ask because I don't want to know. Probably, and so we will see.
I know the other night you spoke about the youngsters and taking the spotlight off them a little bit. When you've got players coming back, that obviously makes it easier to take them out of the spotlight for yourself. Do you feel you need to protect them a little bit at the moment?
I don't feel that. I know that. It's just you are all not ready to do it, so somebody has to ask for it. That's all. I would like to eat my words that I even mentioned it that night, because I gave again an assist to some people to understand the wrong way. It's my fault. So of course nobody is Luke Littler and these kind of things. It's just in general a little bit a problem. What could disturb a career of a very young prospect is one part of it is what does the public make of it? It's wonderful, they deserve it. That was the spotlight at night. You must be really cannot live on the planet if you don't see how special the story was. But besides that, it's just the next challenge is now how to deal with all the things coming up. And of course, these boys are fantastic in that department as well. They're really down to earth, really grounded. All that is absolutely fine. I don't think even it was necessary to mention it that night, but I did. So my fault.
It is really tight at the top of the table. A point ahead of Manchester City, 2 points ahead of Arsenal at the moment. Obviously, you go first again this weekend.
Do we?
How difficult a task is it down for us? Because I suppose in some ways it was a warning sign from what happened last season, but at the same time there's been a change of manager, so I just wonder as well what difference you see in Forest under Nuno.
I would say Nottingham is a great place to play, but a difficult one as well. It was and will be tomorrow. So that's how it is. The situation Nottingham is in is obviously like they have a similar situation to us. They need to win football games to reach their target, and as much as we can, as much they can't waste games or time. So that's the opponent we expect. They've made a few changes for the last game. I think Hudson-Odoi didn't start. I'm not sure if it was resting or but he came on, so probably not. And so we probably roughly know who we will have to expect. And besides that, we have just in a moment for us, preparation. Yes, of course, we look at the opponent and do the analysis. It's clear, but it's it's a real task for us to find out how can we line up with all the games played and stuff like this. So that's why it's always about us before football games, because we want to demand different things, but in the game, but in this time a little bit more than in others. And when we found that, then we can talk about all the rest. But that it will be a tough challenge is 100% clear. You could see Newcastle, Aston Villa, even Arsenal. It was not easy for none of them. That's clear. With especially, not only but especially the counter-attacking threat they are. That's massive with Ioni and Elanga, Gibbs Wright, and also or Divock or stuff like that. That speed and that's they can be direct. They set it up a little bit like that. Protection is massive for us that we really if we try to control the game, we have to make sure that we really control that part of the game as well. So that's how football is, and yeah, looking forward to it. It's we want to play the game. Happy to do it there. Great atmosphere, definitely. So yeah, let's give it a go.
Jurgen, can you talk to us a little bit about the pride that you surely must feel as manager in the way some of these youngsters have stepped up over the last week and a half, especially because we often talk about it being a squad game, but to step up in a League Cup final, in the FA Cup during midweek, and give an account of themselves in the manner they have, you must have enormous pride in it.
Yeah. After the game, I felt that definitely the joy, the pride. It's really different. It's wonderful to see how the boys deal with the situation, because that's a full squad achievement. It is indeed, because I think we all agree if we put all the young boys on the pitch together, then they're still wonderful players and have no chance. So you need to be led, you need to be guided on the pitch. You need this experience around you, and they all know that. I congratulated the senior players after the game how they deal with the situation, because the first half was the first half where you can get frustrated. It's like, okay, how can we? If they were running through, we lost balls here and there, that all can happen. It's completely normal in football, but it's all about your own mindset. And nobody was in that mood at all. So they really enjoyed having them around and knowing about the difficulties and knowing about the opportunities and possibilities, what they give us and all these kind of things. So that was wonderful. Yeah. So, but we're not here in general to think too much about these kind of things. Yesterday was a wonderful day. Was it yesterday that we have the staff picture? Yeah. So we do that usually. If we win a trophy, we do a staff picture. I don't know why we didn't do that in the past, but yesterday we did it 100% with the full academy staff as well. So there was a lot of people in here, and this picture, it was wonderful, because I really wanted everybody to feel it, and to understand it properly about the role they played in that whole story, and that was really cool. But 2 days later we play Nottingham Forest, so that's like now it's tomorrow already. So that's the one thing. It's the other thing. We have to find solutions. And I said, it's a tricky time, a challenging time, but somehow we could keep it very positive, and that's what we have to do. But then the games are the most difficult moments, obviously, in that, and there we have to be ready. And if you don't ask me, because anyway, don't get an answer for that. But if you would ask me, and I wanted to answer what's the definite lineup for tomorrow, I couldn't give you that answer now. And it's 12:30 on -1. So because we just have to stay flexible in these things, and then we have to trust in the process, in the things we do, and that worked out. Not over 90 minutes, but when it didn't work out, we had either a defensive leg somewhere for a block or Queef with a sensational save. So, and that's how football is. When you are not in your best moment, you have to keep games open until you can win them. And these moments come up in a game if you stay clear, but it's not always easy to keep that mindset, and that's what the boys did, all of them, and that's the part I'm really proud of. But that's already passed, because we have to prove that point tomorrow again.
So what's the message now? Is 1st of March, and spoke about the league and other trophies that are on offer. Is it a challenge to be embraced rather than being intimidated by?
Yeah. Well, it was always like that. It's just, we cannot, until we get asked about 4 possible trophies, we don't think a second about it, to be 100% honest. It's always like, why? Oh yes, we are still in all competition, stuff like this. So these kind of things, you don't think about it for 1 second. It's not important, absolutely not. You try to find a solution for the next game. You try to win the next game, and then have a sleep. Yeah, what? Yeah, absolutely. To absolutely take a game by game. That's probably really not a phrase journalists like too much, but we cannot do it differently. So we just have to make sure we get through all these different situations with as many points as somehow possible, and that's what we do, and that's what we will do. And let's see how it works out tomorrow.
Hi. You must be really pleased with the way the team responded to the Arsenal defeat, because since then you've won every game. I think you're averaging 3 goals a game in those wins, despite all the challenges selection-wise that you've had. And how important has that run been?
The result. Yeah, the results are incredibly important. I wouldn't call it now a response to the Arsenal game, because we didn't use it in that way. I didn't say, look at that, and now we have to show reaction. That we always have to show reaction, but first and foremost, you have to show reaction to yourself. If it was one-off, Arsenal was really good. We were not as good as we could have been probably that night, and that can happen in a season where it's not. If you only can reach your targets, if you win all your games, it's anyway really difficult. Not even City did that, even when they came close. But it's really you have to use the lesser good things as much as you have to use the good things. And against Arsenal, unfortunately, there were a few more lesser good things in that game. And that's why we lost the game against a really strong opponent. And but we never used it. That I really said, come on, boys. We have to show that we are not as bad as we were that night or something like that. Not at all. So, yes, but the results, we cannot not speak about it like... it was a Sunday, was it? I'm not sure after which game it was. Brentford, maybe when we got aware of that the situation became now more and more tricky. And it was, in my mind, was not let's win Luton, Chelsea, and Southampton. It was, in my mind, was let's find a solution for Luton. So, and that's what we did. And then you go through that game, and it was not the whole game was pretty, but we found a way into the game and won it quite impressively. And then, do it the same with the final, do the same with Southampton, do the same with Nottingham. And so it's good to have some of them back now, but how long we can use them in this game now, I don't know. So next challenge to figure out all these kind of things. Yes, but of course, it's only 1 point above City, but and 2 points above Arsenal. And but that means nothing. 60 points is a statement for that moment in the season. But stay on 60, and I'm not sure we qualify for the Champions League, to be honest. So we better keep winning football games.
So does it feel almost like it did 2 seasons ago when you had a similar situation? That every game almost had to be won.
Much more comfortable squad situation, as far as I remember it. Could make massive changes between the competitions. Yeah, pretty sure it was complete. I wouldn't bet money on it, but I'm pretty sure it was a completely different squad situation. So that made it different, completely different. There we didn't know that we can win, and we had tight games, especially in the cup competitions where we had to win late and all these kind of things. But you cannot really compare it. But what it showed us that you can fight for everything, win something. Some people will be happy with that, and some will tell you it was not enough. So for us, it was a successful season, and let's hope that we can make a successful season out of this. Well,
Carl?
Do you have an update timescale on Mo? Because for the Burnley game, you've got maybe 2 weeks backing up to the.
I don't think Mo is too far off, but he will not feature tomorrow, and from there we have to go. So it's like with the other two, what we said, touch and go, and that stays with Mo unfortunately a bit longer. But I think next week, at any point, it's possible. So he is on the way back definitely, but not there yet.
Hi, Jurgen.
Hi.
Considering the impact of the younger players, will it make it more difficult when you leave the season?
In which way?
As in, you've seen them this far.
Yeah. It has nothing to do. If it's like if it would be about the people around me, I love the more senior players as well. So I will miss them as well. And then seeing the young boys coming through, it just gives me a very good feeling for the future of the club, which is much more important than anything. And yeah, I will miss them, but I will follow them and stuff like this. But it's not. If I tell it 5 million times, it's not about not wanting or whatever or this and that. It's about what is right. And that's why I do it, and not because I don't like some players and want to leave because of that. Oh, but now they are young players. I like them more, and I should stay. That's not like that. Definitely not.